Welcome to today's episode of the Declutter Hub podcast, your channel for super easy, no-nonsense advice on how to declutter and organise your home. Please welcome your hosts, professional organisers Ingrid Jansen and Lesley Spellman.
Hello and welcome listeners to episode 27 of the Declutterer Hub podcast. I'm Ingrid.
And I'm Lesley.
If you have clutter and want to sort it out, this is the show for you. In today's episode, Lesley and I are talking about what a professional and organizer and declutterer does and why hiring a professional organizer could be changing your life. It's spring clearing week this week, and it's the perfect week to get things in order in your home. But what if you've been trying yourself for ages to get your house sorted and you're not getting anywhere? In today's episode, Lesley and I chat through why hiring a professional organizer might be the best thing you've ever done. So Lesley, let's start at the beginning. Spring clearing week, what is that?
Yeah, so APDO, I'm sure we must have spoken about APDO before on the podcast. So APDO, we actually have our own professional association, the Association of Professional Declutterers and Organisers, which has been going for almost 15 years now. And what that is, it's a kind of a trade association for anybody who does the job that we do. You and I have been really actively involved in that for many, many years. You were the president, I was mentoring and lots of many things that we did. And so we're very fully involved in APDO, aren't we?
Yes.
So yeah, we absolutely love it.
I think we both really enjoy it because it really lifts the industry. If people are in an association and they all think that working together and being a professional person is good for the industry as a whole. And we both really actively support that. And we've been very, very involved in growing the association and making the whole industry more professional.
I think that's it. I think that's what it boils down to, because we have quite strict criteria, really, don't we, as well as to what people have to do to be a member. And so definitely the code of ethics that we have, all about confidentiality and, because we take this job seriously and it's not something, sometimes we're working with people that are quite vulnerable, maybe at a low point, not feeling their best. And so we need to take that seriously. It's not just going in and chucking stuff into bin bags. That's not what it's all about. It's dealing with people's emotions day after day. And for that, we need to be professional. And that's why we call ourselves professional organisers. Spring clearing week then, there are two campaign weeks that APDO run. One of them is in November, and that's National Organising Week, which is all about organising, obviously. And then we have one which is more focused on decluttering, and that is this week. And so you may have seen lots and lots of things from our colleagues and friends in APDO this week if you're heavily into the decluttering world on social media and wondering what it's all about. And so we thought it would be a fantastic week to talk about what actually a professional organiser is, whether that would be a useful thing for you, and what kind of things you should look for when you're trying to employ a professional organizer to work with you. Because it's not straightforward. It's not straightforward. You need to get the right fit for you.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, we both are supporters of both National Organizing Week and Spring Clearing Week. Also, of course, because we're both organizers and declutterers, but also because we are both trainers for the association. We're both experts. People can book mentoring calls with us. And I think it's really important that the industry is a professional industry and that people who join the association abide by this code of ethics. And because, like you said, people are really vulnerable and they want help and they really want somebody that they can trust and rely on to be in their lives. So why would you use a professional organizer then, Lesley?
I think it's really for those people who have tried and failed. Yeah. Failure is the wrong word because trying is success in my book as well. But people who have wanted to declutter and organise their homes and have just become so overwhelmed that they can't see a way out. They can't see where they would start. They just feel that they need that motivation and somebody to sit alongside them and champion them on, really. So I think it's definitely something that you do when you become completely overwhelmed and you can't do it on your own. Because a lot of people say to me, I can't believe you're making a business out of being a declutterer. Because for many people, it's not rocket science. It's just, well, I just declutter things and get rid of things, and I organise. My house is organised, and I can't believe anybody is not like that. And so, but for so many people, there are so many things that get in the way, aren't there, of our homes being our primary thing that we're taking care of. And I think, it's a great idea to take that overwhelm away, even if it's just for 1 or 2 sessions, to work with an organizer, to get your kind of mojo back, and to kind of work out the process and work out the emotions that you need to deal with. And so obviously you and I are going to be advocates of it, because we've done it for the last 10 years. And so we think it's a great thing. We've helped lots of people, but it can be completely life-changing for a lot of people, and can set them on the right path to live in a much more organized, less chaotic and less stressed life.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely money well spent, really.
Yeah, I think so too. And what I see a lot is that people don't know where to start anymore. That's, I think, a very much a sense of, I just can't believe how I got here, and how I didn't see all the stuff grow around me. And then suddenly it seems like almost the blinkers have fallen off. They look around and then they get into a state of panic and go, oh my goodness, what do I do now? And we're that extra pair of hands that can motivate and coach and support people in making decisions. And a lot of times, we've talked about it before, clutter is delayed decisions. But that's all nice and well that you know this. But if you're by yourself in a room that's completely chaotic, and you get to a bit of state because you think, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? Where do I even start? And I think that's where a professional organizer really shines and can really help people.
Definitely. And there is another sort of type of person that we help as well, which is just somebody that's just got so many things in their life that they need to do every day, that organising their spare bedroom just never comes to the top of their list. And so they just need to get it in the diary and make sure it actually happens on that day. So sometimes the person is perfectly fine making decisions, know what they need to do, know where everything wants to go, but it's just never getting done, because we all make choices, don't we, what we do with our time, and that's just not a choice that they're making. And it gets to a point where they're kind of, I need to make this choice today, I need to get somebody in so that it actually gets done. So so that's why I think it's a great thing. And it can be, and we're so lucky, aren't we, to work with people and to be part of that process of a lot of people come to us if people have got a little bit overwhelmed, sometimes a little bit depressed, but they come to us on their way up. So they've made a decision that they want things to be better, and we're part of that process of change. And it's really lovely. And we don't take that lightly, do we? To be part of that journey for a lot of people.
Not at all. And I mean, you can see really you change people's lives, because a lot of clutter creates a lot of clutter in people's heads as well. So when you start to declutter their house, you see that they can start to sleep better, for example. And that is already life-changing. Sleep is so important. And when people sleep better, they feel they can handle more, and they start to feel that they can get on top of things and they can make better decisions. So it's such a positive thing to be part of, and to be a part of that journey in helping people is wonderful. And I think one of the main reasons why we both, for 9 and 10 years, have enjoyed being a professional organizer so much. So, okay, so how do people find the right organizer?
I think getting the right organizer, because there is so much, you and I both know, because we've trained a lot of organizers that have come through. And so we see there are so many different styles of organizer, and people who focus on different things. And so it's finding, and we're very collaborative within APDO. A lot of people work together on sort of projects and things like that. So there's no sense of competition here between organizers, but it's finding the best fit for you. Do you want somebody who's more focused on business organizing? Do you want somebody who's more focused on time management, or is more a life coach? Or, there are so many different ways of attacking this, really. I would say the first thing, we are advocates of APDO, and I think it's really important to go to the APDO website to find somebody. And it's really easy, isn't it? You just go to APDO and there's a thing on there, find an organizer. You put your postcode in, you can find an organizer that's close to you. And so that's obviously if you're not in Southampton or Manchester, because then you'd come straight to us, obviously. But, just joking. So yeah, go to Apto, find an organiser, and you can find. And what I'll do is it'll throw up 5 or 6 or 10, I think it is, isn't it? Organisers that are close to you. And then you can go look at their bios, look what they're saying, and look whether what they're saying on their bios resonates with you. Because you will get that, you'll get that connected feeling with somebody. And that's the most important thing. Follow it up, make the call, send an email, choose a couple that you like the look of, that feel as if they're going to be that way. But I would expect to get a call back, as long as it's not the weekend, certainly within 24 hours from a professional organiser. Because I think it's important for us to realise that some people have waited for months and months to make this decision. It's not an easy decision to make, to ask someone to come into your home. There's lots of feelings of guilt sometimes, and shame and things like that, embarrassment. And so it's a big deal, for people to pick up the phone. And as organisers, we then need to respond to that effectively and in a timely fashion. And so I would say within 24 hours, that call needs to be coming back, unless you're on holiday or whatever. So yeah, expect a speedy response, and then some kind of chat, consultation. It might be a phone consultation, it might be a virtual consultation on Zoom or something. But the most important thing is that organiser is listening to you. So they're not coming to you and they're not saying, right, this is how we're going to do it. This is what I think your home should look like. And this is what I do. And this is the number of hours that I do. At no point during that consultation should there be any kind of dictating from the organiser what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. Because that consultation is all about you and your home, and you saying, this is how I'm feeling and this is what I want my home to look like. So that is what your expectation should be the first time you make that you have that communication with your organiser. Would you agree, Ingrid?
Yeah, I think the vision is very important. What's the plan? Because as an organizer, we might have an idea and think, for example, oh, we would love to start in the kitchen, but maybe you as the client thinks to yourself, well, I think for me, the spare bedroom is really important because I need to create a home office, or I'm going to have people over for the weekend, so you need to talk that through with your organizer and decide what is the best plan to work together, and explain to you need to explain to them what your vision is and where you want this to go. Because clutter, I think, is a very relative principle. The amount of clutter and how you want your house to look is different for everybody. Some people want to have a completely streamlined house, want to declutter everything because they have decided that minimalism and having nothing in their house is the way for them. While other people think, you know what, I just want to make sure that I get my laundry done and that I get laundry in my cupboards and that people can find fresh clothes in the morning and that I know where my keys are in the morning. So it depends on every client what it is that they want. And you need to, as a professional organizer, that's what you need to figure out and need to be very clear about from the start.
Yeah, and I think it's all about the client's level of tolerance, isn't it, and where they want to go with that. So sometimes it's fair to say we walk into some homes where, on first glance, we look and think, I'm not quite sure what we're going to be able to do here, because it looks tidy, it looks organised, there's not much clutter. But if that's making that person overwhelmed and they want to be better, that's more getting towards the realms of perfectionism. And of course, these days, we look at Instagram, we look at Pinterest, and everything is looking so perfect. And a lot of people want that look, and we're there to help them create it. So yeah, and then we've got other people at the other end of the spectrum that are so overwhelmed with clutter that they can't see a way out of it. Yeah. So it's important to find somebody that's going to really work well with you and that's going to ask the right questions during that consultation. The most important thing is that you need to feel comfortable with that organizer. And you need to feel that you can trust them. This is going to be a relationship entirely built on trust, and that's what you need to work out straight away. So if the gut feeling is that this is not going to work, then move on to the next organizer.
Yeah, I always advise people, indeed, exactly what you said. Type in your postcode, look at your 10 nearest organizer if they're not in my area, and I redirect people to the Apto website. I always say, have a look at different websites. When you think, oh, she looks nice, or she comes across, or this is what I really, really want in that person, and contact them and talk to them. And if you definitely do a consultation, either online or in person, and if the gut feeling is good, then you're on the right path, because it's personal. organizing is very, very personal, and you go through stuff together. So you need to make sure that you really like and trust somebody.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what else would you expect an organizer to sort out with you in the consultation, or either virtual or in person? I mean, of course, you need to figure out how they work. Do they do the work with you, or are there organizers out there who do the work for you? I mean, I always work with my clients because that's, I think, for me, the most important part of my job. I absolutely love working with my clients. Do you need to take care of the stuff yourself, or will the organizer bring it to the charity shop for you? Do you need, there's loads of stuff as well that
Yeah,
needs to
loads
be
of
sorted,
practical
isn't
stuff
it?
as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, you need to look at logistics. And also at that point, you'd like to get some kind of feel for how long this process might take.
Hmm.
But what an organizer will or should never do really is give you a kind of, it's going to take 5 hours, for example, and it's going to cost you this much, because you, both you and the client, or the other way around, you and me as organizers, don't know how fast it's going to take you to how quickly you can make decisions, or whether that's going to be difficult for you, exactly what type of clutter there is, whether you're going to suddenly find 75 boxes of paperwork under the bed that you had not seen. And so there's no guarantees and there's no promises, and so what you're unlikely to get is a defined price at that stage. But what you should get is a feel for how much it's going to cost per hour, and a kind of broad, I try to give my clients a broad feeling for, it's going to take between 3 and 5 sessions, or 7 and 10, or 1 and 2, or whatever that might be.
Yeah.
So just try and work all that kind of stuff out, because budget is really important, of course, and this has to be affordable and has to be within your budget, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, try and find that out. And it's important, do they bring their bin bags with them, or do I need to source those, or all those kind of practical things. But the organizer during that consultation should go through all that with you.
Yeah, I agree with you. I try and estimate during a consultation how long I think something will take, but I always say, listen, until we start working together, it depends on the speed in which you can make decisions as well. So I try to say, we're probably looking at 2 sessions here, 3 sessions there, 1 session here, but I keep it very open, because it all depends on how quickly the client can make decisions. For example, if I think a kitchen can take 1 or 2 sessions, I kind of say, okay, I estimate 2 sessions, but of course it depends on when we open the cupboards and everything comes out, then you can really kind of see how long it will take. The only thing I do not estimate is paperwork, because I think that is very, very tricky to estimate.
But I think it's the important thing for us is that we give the client the time that they need to make those decisions without being overwhelmed. The last thing that we want when we're trying to take the overwhelm away is to be rushing people through decisions because we've made promises about the fact that this kitchen is going to be done in 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
And so we have to take it at the client's pace, and that's the important thing to remember.
Yeah.
So if an organizer does come to you and are being a little bit kind of not exactly being clear in how long it's going to take, that's the reason why.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I've had clients who have said, okay, you're feeling comfortable now, you're growing you're feeling more comfortable in making decisions. Let's see if we can speed up your yay or nay a little bit. But there have also been clients that have said, okay, you're going so quick, you need to slow down, because I really want to make sure that we make really good decisions here.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
once the decision has been made, is it staying? Is it going? And if it's going, where is it going? Then I don't want to keep changing around from that all the time. And I think that's really important. So exactly what Leslie's saying, if sometimes it's hard for an organizer to say how long it will take, this is why.
Well, I think we've kind of covered everything, really. The most important pertinent points of what you should look for and what you should expect. What you're going to expect at the end of that process is you're going to expect your house to be organized in a way that suits your family life. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So every house, so it's a bespoke process, and so by working with the organizer and client relationship is going to mean there's all the time going to be questions about, right, what's important to you, what do we need in your upstairs cupboard, what do we need close to the front door, and that's going to be different if you're an 80-year-old couple or a mum with 3 kids that have got to get out to school in the morning. And so it's very much about creating this bespoke system, and that is why you as a client need to be involved all the time, and you can't just say, well, you organize it the way that you think, because we could do that, but then it's not necessarily going to work for you. So
Yeah.
it's really important. But that's what you're going to expect at the end of it. You're going to expect that organizer to have created or worked with you to create that vision that you had in the beginning. And that vision might be, I want my grandkids to come and stay over in my spare bedroom because they can't get in there at the moment because it's a dumping ground. It might be, as you said before, I just want to get on top of my laundry and find a system that's going to work for me. So that vision doesn't need to be, I want my house to look like it's on, Grand Designs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every person's home is different. So that's kind of what you might expect. Now, I think it's important for us to say, what we're not trying to do here is to sort of, well, we are trying to promote professional organizer because we believe in it as a profession.
Mm-hmm.
But it's clear also that as well as being the clutter fairy for me and organize your house for you, we have also gone in line world, the online world of trying to sort of pass our information across to you. Why did we do that? Because in the last 10 years that we've been working, there are so many people who, for whatever reason, can't have a professional organizer in their home. They would love to, they would love nothing more. But let's be honest, this is not a cheap option. We think it's well worth it in terms of a financial outlay, and many people will say it's the best home improvement money they've ever spent. But not many people can afford that. There's a lot of people out there that can't, and we are desperate to help as many people as we can. And so when Ingrid and I were chatting about this a year ago, we were like, how can we do this? It's got to be, because the most important thing about us as professional organisers is us being there, and us being there to motivate, us being there to educate, and so on. And so we felt that a lot of the courses and things that are out there are kind of, it's kind of a push, this is what you need to, it's what you need to do. So what we've tried to do with the Declutter Hub and what we're working on at the moment is, what you've seen so far, if you've seen our podcast, you're getting to know us a little bit more, getting a feel for whether or not you like us. And it's important that you might not, but we'd like you to like us. But it's important for us to get ourselves across as personalities, for you to see, are Ingrid and Lesley somebody that could help me through my process on my own at home? And so just to give you a feeler for what we're working on at the moment, and it should be coming soon. We're too busy making podcasts, aren't we, to be able to write courses at the moment. We've got a slight delay. But anyway, so we're writing courses, and what these will be is step by step going through every single room in your house. And it breaks it down, and it gives you every single thing that we know as organisers is in there, isn't it, Ingrid? We put videos in there, and we talk through things. So we've got courses which are brilliant and very insightful, I think, as well as to the important things. We talk about psychology, so planning, everything. And so what you might expect, that's going to be in our members area soon. And the other thing that is going to be the really important thing is that every 2 weeks there's going to be Q&A sessions, live Q&A sessions with Ingrid and I, where you can ask us anything. So that's the point at which you if you're going through the kitchen course, for example, you might say, oh, well, you said this about the kitchen course, but I can't quite make that work for my house because I've not got that cupboard, or blah blah. So some things that we've maybe not thought about, or if you've got something unusual at home, or something that you just need a little bit of extra help or motivation with. So yes, we love being a professional organizer, and we love doing that, and we would absolutely advocate, if you're stuck and you can afford that to hire a professional organizer to come and help you, even if it's one session, absolutely go for it. But you've got this second option, which is Ingrid and I helping you through within the members area, which is coming soon. So we just wanted to talk to you about that. We've not really spoken that much about it, have we? About what we're doing and why we're doing all this. Yeah. So that's coming soon, and we're right in the middle of the courses at the moment. We're excited, aren't we?
Oh, it's so nice to be able to write everything that's in our heads, and all this experience that we have. And, I'm touching on 900 projects that I've done now. So I've done so much work with clients, and I really want other people as well to be able to get that knowledge from me, and not only the clients that I work with on a day-to-day basis. And we both love decluttering and organizing so much, and we've done so much work to professionalize the industry. And now we really want to help people who who can't have an organizer in their home. And that's why we're writing the courses, to make that really affordable for people to get all of that experience from us. So stay tuned for announcements on that and on our wonderful members area. So yeah, I think that's it, Lesley, isn't it? Is there anything else we need to add?
I just think it's really, so just to jump back to what we were talking about at the moment, this week is Spring Clearing Week. All of our lovely APDO members are doing loads and loads of stuff. They're doing radio, they're doing blogs. So go out there, be inspired by them. Tell us about it and tell us something that resonated with you. So Spring Clearing Week is there to motivate and educate you to clear your homes in spring. So it's not spring cleaning, it's spring clearing. Apparently people don't do spring cleaning anymore because they just clean the house all the time.
Apparently. Yeah. Well, I advocate more a little but often. So I'm not going to spring clean my whole house, but of course in the April half term when the kids are off school, I will be doing some jobs around the house that need doing, that I think that I like doing in April, when it's hopefully the sun is shining and I can use my outside washing line, Lesley. That would make me very, very happy.
Exactly. So, and we're almost at the end of our 40 days, 40 items challenge as well in the Declutter Hub community, aren't we? So if anybody's not part of our Declutter Hub community, please come along and take a look. So we've set that up. We've got a closed Facebook group, so you can tell us everything that you want. You can share your photos, share your stories. It's been really good fun. So we've been doing a 40 day, I always get it wrong, don't I? 40 days, 40 items challenge, where we've been decluttering one item every day. Ingrid and I have been going live on Facebook to show what we've been decluttering and why. And all of our lovely members have been doing that as well, haven't they? So that's us done now, I think.
So listeners, are you ready to take the next step? Have you realized by listening to this podcast that you need help and hiring a professional organizer is the way to go for you? We really appreciate you taking the time to listen today. And like Lesley said, if you would like more tips and advice, please follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and we have the Facebook group community where we chat all things clutter, literally. And we'd love to see you there. And of course, if you don't want to miss the next weekly episode, don't forget to subscribe to the Declutterer Hub podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and Stitcher. Thanks for listening. See you next time.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Declutter Hub podcast. Check out declutterhub.com for more inspiration and don't forget to tune in next week.